Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Roxanne, another member of the team, and I'm here today with Karam and Afshan, and we're going to talk to you about buying property in the UK and the thing you should know. So if that's something you're interested about, please stay tuned. So, Karam, could you tell me who can buy a property in the UK?
That's a very good question, Roxanne. The simple answer is anyone can buy a property in the UK. You don't
Oh,
have to
really?
be a UK resident to buy a
Mm-hmm.
property. People from overseas with money, they can buy a property in the UK.
Oh, perfect. So, Afshan, does that mean as an overseas buyer, can I get a mortgage in the UK, for
You most
example?
certainly can. Why not? The criteria is different. So basically, the lender may reduce their lending, so you have to contribute more because they want to reduce their risk. They might increase the interest rate, but there's no reason why you can't. If you have a broker that knows what they're doing, that's absolutely not a problem.
Oh, okay, perfect. But so then, if I am an overseas buyer, for example, how do I get my money into the UK from?
Of course, you can do that by sending your money through banking channels, but you have to understand that it's very important that we, being the solicitors acting for client, we should be satisfied with the source of those funds.
Is there any other things I should be concerned about, Afshan?
Yeah, I mean, with regard to when you're buying a property and you're not physically in the UK, think about off plan. Do you really, want to go there? Because unless you know the developer, or they come recommended by someone that has purchased off plan, then I wouldn't really recommend it. I would think, for you to do your due diligence before you jump into that, and also you need to make sure that the estate agent that you're dealing with is someone that knows what they're doing, and someone that can be trusted, really.
In general, what is conveyancing?
The conveyancing is basically, it's just a technical term, really. For me and you, it's all about the transfer of property. It goes from one person to another. Same as what they call a car a conveyance. So what is it? The car gets you from A to B, really. So it's just the process of transfer. Um, so conveyancing, what's involved in that is you go to the solicitor, you say, look, I want to buy the property. The solicitor will do the searches. The solicitor will also make inquiries. And when they're satisfied that, yeah, this property is worth purchasing, and the conveyancing process differs. Our UK one is completely different to abroad. When you're in other countries, it's just a case of paying for it and you get the ownership.
Yeah.
But in our country, it's a lot more complicated. I think even in Scotland, it's different. So, in terms of the UK, then after that, you've made your inquiries, and the solicitor says, "Yeah, we're ready to go. Let's." But that's another thing that you need to be careful about. No legitimate solicitor will ask you to pay all the money into their account because they don't need it. They only need the deposit, which is the 10% normally. It could vary.
Yeah.
And then you exchange contracts, and when you're satisfied, they'll have a meeting with you, or they'll give you a report on title, say, look, this is what it is. You say that's fine. We exchange contracts, and then there's a gap between exchange of contracts and completion in most cases. Some cases it's the same time, but in most cases that's what happens, and then that's when you're tied into buying the property on exchange of contracts, and then you get completion. Completion is normally 1 week later, 2 weeks later, for solicitors to sort the documents out and for you to arrange the rest of the money, and then the money is transferred to the account, and that's when you get your keys to the property. So as far as you're concerned, that's done and dusted. As far as the solicitors are concerned, then they have to deal with the other formalities and registering that property into your name.
Perfect. Thank you. That seems like a long process. But how long does it usually take, Karam, for example?
It all depends upon the buyer and the seller.
Okay.
As far as the seller is concerned, they are more to do with selling their property and get the money as quickly as possible. But if a solicitor is acting for a buyer, then they need to carry out all the checks, searches, and raise all the relevant inquiries.
Yeah.
So it can take some time. And as I said, it depends how quickly the seller solicitor is replying to those inquiries. They can
course.
take time. Some of them, they are very quick with their replies. And the process can take between 4 to 6 weeks.
All right.
And it can go over that as well if the other side is not that cooperative.
Mhm.
But that's the average time it will take for a
Okay.
conveyancing transaction.
For example, if I'm really in a rush and I want to buy a property, can my solicitor accelerate the process, for example, Afshan? Is
Oh
that
yeah,
something?
most definitely.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something funny. I once had a case where my client said to me, "Look, actually, I need this done quickly," and the solicitor happened to be just a stone's throw away from our office. Their offices were just across the road, and I sent the inquiries to the solicitor, and I gave him a call, and I said, "Yeah, can you have a look at this for me?" He said, "You know how it goes, Afshan. I just put it in the file, and then I'll deal with it when I get around to it." The way that we work is we give a very personal service, and not only do we email the solicitors to say, "Look, these are the inquiries," we then follow up with a phone call. We will then even call the estate agent to say, "Look, we've sent the inquiries." Most estate agents are quite surprised to hear from us because normally solicitors are quite shy of estate agents. So we do say, "Look, can you please let the other side know, let the buyer or the seller know so that they can then chase their solicitor and move the process along." So it can be dealt with a lot sooner if the solicitor's minded to do that, really.
Perfect. Thank you so much for all your answers. Any last words?
My last words will be that people think that it's a very complicated process buying a property, which is true to some extent. But if you are in the right hands, then this process can be made very easy and less stressing for you. So what you need is a right solicitor who can take you through this process without any hurdles and with a peace of mind.
So I agree with that, Karim. So at the end of the day, you need to have someone that knows what they're doing. They can simplify things with you, because after divorce, this is the most stressful thing that you can do. So yeah, I think I'll leave you on that note.
Thank you so much for watching. We really hope you liked the video. Feel free to contact us. Our contact details are all down below in the description. Until we see you next time, thank you. Bye.
Thank
Goodbye.
you. Bye.